I'm Kevin Callahan, and I'm the owner and general manager of Honda of Jasper. The investment we made in renovating our facility is a statement in our belief in our product, our people, and the Jasper community. The confidence we have in the Honda brand made doing a remodel an easy decision, because when you invest in your business, you invest in the community and the people that live there. Watching our business grow as Jasper has grown shows us we've made the right decision.
Welcome back to Coffee Time. Get you another cup of coffee. Enjoy the rest of the program. We're keeping up with Meet the Candidates, and we've got a special guy in the studio with us today. That'd be Mr. J.C. Poe, candidate for sheriff of Walker County. How you doing, sir?
Fine. Good to see you, Tommy.
Good to have you with us. How's Miss Patty doing?
She's doing great.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Y'all been married about 40-something years.
42, going on 42.
Wow,
Yep.
that's great.
Yep.
Great lady, and
She
enjoy
is.
She's
She's
being around her when I can get around her.
Yep,
sometimes.
she's a blessing.
All right, let's start out. Candidate sheriff of Walker County.
Yep.
Why would you want to be sheriff of Walker County?
Well, I've currently got the best job I've ever had as being police chief for the city of Jasper,
Yes, sir.
and I love it, but I also care about the county, and it's in such a bad condition right now with the sheriff's office that somebody's got to go in that's got the experience and the knowledge to turn it around. They've got 27 indictments or sentencings already of employees or associates of the sheriff's office from the Justice Department. And I've never heard of a law enforcement agency having that much problem, and the leader is still there.
Yes, sir.
And it's embarrassing. You can go anywhere in the state of Alabama and they learn where you're from, and they'll ask what's going on up in Walker County. And I spent 18 years at the sheriff's office, part of my law enforcement career, and I deeply care about it. And it's an institution that, if it's in a good place, that you can be proud of working there and hold your head up. And you can be respected and give respect.
You spent 6 years as the coroner of this county also.
I did. Coroner Vic was going to step out of the position and become a pastor, and so I petitioned the governor to fulfill his remaining term, and Governor Riley granted that to me. And I spent 2 years of his final term, and then I ran for a term of my own, and those 4 years there, so a total of 6 years as coroner of the county.
You know, those 6 years would teach a man, or any man as coroner, about compassion.
It will.
It would teach you to go into that family in the worst time of its life, go to a home, go to a car accident, do what you got to do.
It will. I spent, of course, I've been in law enforcement for many, many years, and I think a lot of that having to deal with death during that, death investigations, kind of led the way and paved the way for me being coroner for 6 years. It's a job that does require compassion and also investigative skills if you're going to do the job properly. And you need all that for the families, and a lot of times you can go into some of the smaller communities, and when the law enforcement, they don't have, some of the agencies doesn't have investigators, and you can or can't get the county to come in and help, then you have to help with the investigation, death investigation, to see if it is any foul play or if it is just a natural. And sometimes that's really not easy to determine. But you need somebody with compassion, because you, most of the time, you're the person that has to break the bad news to a family member. And
would the sheriff, if you go to a home and a death in a home, and you see the situation, would you call on a deputy or a sheriff's office or somewhere to come there to aid you in that?
we would. Most of the time 911 goes ahead and notifies the appropriate law enforcement agency, and they're already sending somebody.
Okay.
But if it's one of the small towns that doesn't have investigators, then I would reach out to the sheriff's office for an investigator, or either that agency representative would.
So that means the deputies that you'll have under you they have to be prepared for that situation.
Yeah, the deputy coroners do.
Yeah.
Yes.
The deputy
Uh-huh.
coroners
Yeah.
have to be prepared.
Yeah, because the coroner himself or herself can't answer every call. When I was coroner, we averaged 200 calls a year,
Come on.
and that's a lot of calls, and
Yes,
it's a part-time position.
All right, you are presently the chief at the city of Jasper. How long you been
Yes.
doing that?
I've been the chief of police going on 12 years for the city of Jasper.
Unbelievable. Good. All right, tell me about that experience as would lead to sheriff's office.
Well, I currently manage approximately 73 people. Sometimes we're a little short of that, but if we're fully staffed, 49 of those are sworn police officers, which is investigators, patrol officers, narcotics people, and we have specialties also, and but jailers, dispatchers. So that managing that many people and I'm a no-nonsense type of leader, and we run a tight ship, and sometimes you have to have disciplinary issues that you have to deal with, but that kind of prepares me, I felt like, to be sheriff and also handling the budget. My budget is currently somewhere in the neighborhood of $6.5 million, and it's actually 6.7
Wow.
million. I believe the sheriff's budget is maybe $500,000 more than what mine is. So each year since I've been there, I've come in under budget. It ranges from 4 to 6% under budget, and I look at it every day to make sure that my line items are staying in line, and if I have an expense that I cannot handle in my budget, I go to the city council and the mayor and I justify it and request, some additional money to handle that. If an air conditioner goes out on the building that I don't have money for, then I'll go to them about that. And I can't recall a time I've ever been turned down. I've got great relationships with them and with the Civil Service Board, and that's one thing I've always tried to do is build relationships.
The county jail, how many, I don't even know this myself, I'm asking, how many beds, how many prisoners?
All right. I was chief deputy at the sheriff's office whenever the sheriff's department occupied the current building they're in and the jail. At that time, it was built and it had 258 beds. It could house legally and appropriately 258 inmates. And now currently, I don't know. I think that's been adjusted some. I think some of those areas have been turned over into maybe utilized in a different way or something. I'm not sure.
Let's talk a little bit about integrity and accountability.
Okay.
That goes to the people of any situation, whether you be chief, whether you be sheriff, whether you run a business like I do. Integrity and accountability is high priority.
It is. I was speaking to a group of kids the other day, and I told them, I said, you need to always guard your integrity and always guard your character. I said, those two things are things that once you lose that, you cannot go back and pick it back up. And you can't go to the store and buy either one, and you need to guard that. I have always tried to do what was right about situations and people. I'm only human. I'm sure I've fallen short at times, but I've always tried to guard my integrity. And with accountability, try to be accountable for things, and if we mess up, we own up to it, deal with it, and then move on.
Good deal. Now, the education, I think are your deputies required to do statewide education every year at the sheriff's office?
The sheriff's deputies, it's a little different from regular police officers. With APOST, Alabama Commission of Police Officers Commission and Training Commission, you have to have 12 hours of continuing education a year.
Yeah.
And also have a firearms qualification each year. With the county deputies, they have to have the firearms qualification and they have to have the police academy, but they do not have to do the 12 hours continuing education each year unless the county commission passes a resolution for that. And a lot of times the county commissions doesn't pass that resolution because it locks them into paying for that continuing education. And that's time away from the job, so a lot of times you have to pay people overtime to fill their shifts. At JPD, we do far more than 12 hours continuing education a year. Last year we had in the neighborhood of 4,500 hours of continuing education with our officers. The only bad part of that is it makes my officers appealing to other larger departments. And I spoke with the chief at the Chiefs Conference here in February, and I asked him, he had hired a couple of my officers, and I said, hey Chief, how about don't hire any more of my officers? He said, JC, I love your officers. They're trained up and they're disciplined.
Good deal. And the same thing would go on at the county. Of
Yes.
course, they have their continuing education, and then there's all kind of training they can go through.
They are. There's all training always available for them. And when I become sheriff, we will continue the training. We will pick it up and actually do more than what's being done.
What is, I know this answer, number one in Walker County, like it is in a lot of counties, got to be drug situation?
It is. We have a serious drug problem. Every community does. The ones that say they don't is just in denial. But we've got to unify law enforcement in this county, and that's one of the things I'm going to be doing, and creating a drug task force. We had one years and years ago, and it worked good for a long time, and then the wheels fell off of it. But we're going to reorganize or start a new one. We're not going to reorganize one. There's not one currently. But we're going to create one and include the other law enforcement agencies that can be a part of it. And I think that's the best way to be able to attack the drug problem, because the drug dealers don't pay attention to jurisdictions, and you've got to be able to work with other departments and make that a seamless effort.
As a sheriff of Walker County, you have to also work with other departments like the small cities all over this county that a lot of times need your help.
That's true, yeah.
Need your help.
A lot of times these smaller towns, they don't have the manpower. They're just barely having somebody to patrol, and they can't handle investigations, and we have to supply investigators for that.
In the city of Jasper and around the county, we got the homeless folks.
Yes.
Mental folks.
We've got, it seems like that our homeless numbers are getting larger and larger. We've got an officer that part of his duty is keeping track, or trying to, of our homeless, and that is very hard to do because they move around so much. A lot of them won't accept help. You can offer to get them, if they've got somebody living out of state, a bus ride, and they want to take it. They just like being in the environment they're in, and that sounds crazy, but that's the truth of it. The ones that need some medical issues, then this officer can reach out to some of the churches and some of the clinics and get them the help that they will accept. But there again, some of them won't accept the help. But the two biggest problems with the homeless that goes hand in hand with it is a lot of them are drug addicts, and then a lot of them have mental issues, and that goes hand in hand. And that makes it extremely hard. If they have the mental issues, then a lot of them don't think that they have anything wrong with them. And if they don't want to voluntarily go somewhere, it's very hard to make them. You can't really make them unless there's an episode or something and you can get an ambulance there and they can volunteer to go to the hospital, to the ER, to be evaluated.
As coroner and as chief of the city of Jasper, you have to manage your personnel, all
Yes.
your employees.
Yes,
And same thing with being sheriff of Walker County,
yes,
the personnel involved.
yes. I've always tried to surround myself with good people. Like at the city, I've got assistant chief and I've got captains. And these people, I try to have people that have good morals and they care about people and they're going to do their job. But the foremost thing is they're there for the citizens and to treat them the way they should be treated. Sometimes we fall short of that, but when it comes to our attention, then we address it.
Good deal. All right, we got about a minute and a half to go. I want you to look right in that camera, Mr. Poe, and talk about these folks about voting for you for sheriff of Walker County.
All right, thank you, Tommy, for having me. I would like to ask each and every one of you to very much consider voting for me for sheriff of Walker County. I chose law enforcement as my career path, and that was early on in life. I grew up in a law enforcement family. I had an uncle that died about the same year that I was born. He was a county deputy, and he got killed alongside another deputy. So law enforcement goes way back in my heritage, and I care about it deeply. I care about the people. I have started out my career as a dispatcher with the city of Jasper. I worked as a dispatcher. I worked as a police officer, a detective. For about 7 years, I went on to the sheriff's office. I worked 18 years there. Worked as an investigator. 4 years of that was over as director and commander of the countywide narcotics unit. I spent the last 7 years there as chief deputy. And the sheriff's office was in a good place when I left. And it wasn't just because of me, it was because of the people that worked there. We had a lot of good leaders, we had a lot of good deputies, and they treated people the way they should be treated, and they also were respected. But I need to ask you to very much consider me to vote for me, but also consider that the experience and knowledge that I bring to the table to go to the sheriff's office and get it turned around to where it can be one of accountability and also integrity, and also return it back to where it is a righteous department. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you for being
Tommy,
with
for
us.
having me.
God bless you. Good
Thank
luck
you.
out there as you meet a lot of folks and keep asking for them votes.
Thank you.
Good deal. Say hello to your wife for me.
I will.
All right, we're going to take a break. Don't leave us. We'll be right back with more Coffee Time.